bring something that Mr. Fenris will let me keep. I would have liked to have kept the unicorn, or the Yale, or that panther that could beat up dragons. Not so sorry about the Bonnacon, though.
Did you know that all three of these animals are from medieval heraldry and bestiaries? Bestiaries were a medieval European manuscript that acted both as a zoological record of animal life and as a Christian religious text. Bestiary authors would collect tales of animals, many of which were completely fictional, and would then compare each animal's attributes, real or imagined, with those of figures from Christianity. Bestiaries, as we know them, began to appear in the 12th century, though they were based on earlier writings, especially the 4th century Greek work by Physiologus, as well as Pliny the Elder's 1st century work, Natural History, and Isidore of Seville's 7th century work, Etymologies. Heraldry was a system devised in 12th century Europe and codified in the 13th as a means of visual identification. It was highly structured and is still in use today. Essentially, heraldry was a way to brand yourself, so when people saw your heraldry, they would know who you were, even if you were wearing a helmet covering your face. Think of it as a medieval logo. The Yale, also spelled with an E, was thought to represent an ibex or possibly a water buffalo. It may have gotten its name from the Hebrew word Yael, meaning ibex or mountain goat. The Yale was a goat-like creature with the tail of an elephant, a tusked maw, and horns that could swivel about on its head to aid it in defense and attack. It also enjoyed wallowing in water. It entered heraldic use in the 15th century as a supporter for the arms of John, Duke of Bedford. It was usually depicted with its horns pointed in different directions and with colored spots across its body, which, in heraldic terms, is known as a semée of rondelles. It was sometimes depicted as a heraldic antelope with ram horns and a dog's tail, as seen as a supporter in the arms of Henry Fitzroy, Duke of Richmond. Note that a heraldic antelope does not look like a real antelope. In bestiaries, the panther became synonymous with Christ and was seen as a friend of all animals but one. That one animal was the dragon. Since the devil was depicted as a dragon, panthers were therefore seen as the natural enemies and vanquishers of dragons. Though sometimes depicted as a cat-like, and likely actually based on the cheetah, the panther was often drawn as a composite creature. It was said that panthers had sweet breath, so in heraldry the panther was commonly depicted as incensed, with flames coming out of its mouth and ears representing its breath. Note that incensed can mean both enraged and sweet-smelling. Like the Yale, a heraldic panther is covered in round dots, in this case representing the spotted covering of the cheetah upon which the panther was based. The Bonnacon was also known as a bonassus or wild cow, and was likely inspired by the European bison. It was a large beast with horns that curled back on themselves, making them useless for both attacking or defending against enemies. It was reddish in color and had a woolly horse-like mane. The Bonnacon was said to emit a fiery emission from its anatomy as its only means of defense. When it sensed danger, it would run and spray a mass of hot, burning dung that could cover a distance of up to 3 acres and set any flammable items alight. Is it any wonder the intern was happy he wasn't allowed to keep a Bonnacon?